It's really important to have empathy and sympathy and let the clients get the emotions out to an extent that's reasonable. And I mean, you want to let the clients know that you completely understand how they're feeling and why they're feeling it, and that you're going to do everything that you can to help them and make this process as easy as possible for them. And we like to say that we're going to take the burden of the actual case off of them, put it on us, and let them deal with their emotions and the grieving process and getting through each day. So at the end of the day, the reason why I do what I do is because we are helping people tremendously, and we're making their lives a little bit better, even though they're going through a very difficult, sad situation. But at the end of it, they're going to be so happy that the chapter is closed, they can move on, and that they did everything that they needed to do.
Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Marketing, where I, Tom Foster, talk with legal leaders about marketing mindset and the growth of law firm businesses. Since the internet was born, Foster has been the premier provider of customized websites, SEO, video, and strategic solutions for elite practices. Our unparalleled web technology and systems set the gold standard in the industry, catering exclusively to discerning clientele who demand the best. Whether you're an aspiring marketer or an established leader, this podcast will inspire, empower, and offer expert tips from some of the brightest women in their fields. I'm excited to introduce our guest, Samantha Sbrocchi. She is, did I say it right?
Sbrocchi.
Sbrocchi. I messed it up again. I practiced it, guys. All right. She is a distinguished partner at Antonelli Antonelli, specializing in probate and estate litigation in the New York City Metro Area, with a practice focused on contested wills, fiduciary misconduct, wrongful death proceedings, and complex kinship matters. Samantha has rapidly established herself as a formidable advocate in the New York trust and estates legal community. After joining Antonelli Antonelli before her bar admission and being admitted to practice in 2019, she quickly rose to become a partner in January 2025. Samantha is known for her unwavering dedication to clients, exceptional work ethic, and impressive track record of results. Plus, I hear you're a big Beatles fan.
I am.
So, Samantha, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I got a couple questions for you. You moved from, this is exceptional, and congratulations are in order. You've moved from team member to partner in just 6 years. So what do you think has been your key to success in the New York estate litigation field?
So that's a great question. I go by the motto that anything in life that you want to succeed in, whether it's your career, fitness, your overall health, it's all about consistency and working hard, showing up every day, giving it 100%, no matter what you do in life. That's how you get ahead. So that's what I rely on as far as how I've gotten.
Have you always been that way? Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I always try to put 100% into everything that I do. It's not always easy, but
were you an athlete in school?
I was.
I bet you were very competitive.
I was.
What did you play? What sports?
So in high school and middle school, I played softball and I played volleyball. And I played for the school team, and then for softball, I played for an independent league for many years.
Wow. And you mean afterwards or during school?
Outside of school.
Oh, okay. And so do you feel like that your sports experience and the competitive, do you think that helped you later on in life, learning that?
Yeah, I've actually never thought about that. I would say yes, that definitely helped lead me to my work ethic today and how I approach every day.
So how did you get into law? I love asking this question because it varies with everybody. So how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I struggled actually for a long time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I have asthma, I have numerous food allergies that has impacted my life, my entire
Sure.
life. Um, and so for a long time, I thought that I wanted to go and become a doctor and help kids who had similar allergies and asthma that I have. And once I took one of the science classes, it might have been chemistry, I realized this is not for me. So I was undecided for a long time, and my family actually has a law firm, my grandfather and my aunt, and I worked for them when I was in college, and I remember my grandfather saying to me, "It will never hurt you to have a background in law. Even if you don't end up practicing, it will only help you." So I decided to major in legal studies and business in college, relying on that advice. And so naturally, I started taking legal classes in college, and it kind of all fell into place from there. The legal classes just made sense to me. Everything kind of clicked. And so I wound up graduating college. I did very well. And I decided to go to law school. And I took the LSAT multiple times and I did horrible.
Oh no.
And I really didn't know if I was going to even get into law school. Even though my grades in college were great, tests like that just don't bode
That
well
happened to a lot
with
of
me.
people, right? A lot of people, I
Yeah.
bet.
So I wound up getting into Hofstra, which is where I graduated college from. And to this day, I truly believe that I got in only because I went there and I did well there. And so I went to law school. I started at Hofstra and then I wound up transferring after my first year to Toro, which is another law school on Long Island. And I did really, really well. I graduated with honors. I was on law review. I worked very, very hard. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So really, the lesson to be learned from all of this is just never to give up. Even
Yeah.
when you doubt yourself, don't give up. Because if you work at it and you're consistent, you will achieve great results.
Yeah, 100%. And having a good attitude like you have about it, like even though a lot of times it seems like the world is stacked against you, which it
Yeah,
is against everybody, it's not just you. You don't get that special crappy treatment. Everybody gets it.
sure.
Um, and it's only the people that have the attitude that you do that succeed. Most people just give up. Most people blame
Yeah,
other people or situations or whatever, even if they created it themselves. But that's fantastic that you have that attitude, and that's obviously why you're so successful. It's so young already.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
think about that though. Like I mean, like, look, I've been interviewing people for a long time. I've been in this business for 30 years. And I just think it's so wonderful when young people get it so early because it took me so long to figure it out. And you have it. And, it took me years to figure out consistency is key. Something as simple as that, just staying consistent.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
just something I've done by dumb luck.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that. And I I realized it obviously in school, in my career. But I've also, in the last 2 years, gotten back into fitness. When I was in high school, I really, with playing sports, I was in great shape. I would go to the gym. I did so much, and then it kind of fizzled out for me. I was burnt out. I did
Those
too
people.
much. Yeah. And so I would always walk, I would always try to stay active, but having a consistent fitness schedule was just never something that I like to do post high school. And I recently, in the last 2 years, I picked it back up. I got a Peloton, and have just been consistently working at that. And that hasn't even been 2 years. I actually got it Memorial Day of 2023. And it's just been another lesson for me that the more that you go at something, so me riding my Peloton 3-4 times a week, I've seen better results. I sleep better. I have mental clarity. I'm just doing much better than I was before working out. And again, it's just been another lesson that the more you're consistent with something, no matter what it is in your life, the more you're going to get the results.
Yeah. And the other lesson, and there's been many already, is exercise is so important.
Yeah.
Exercise is key to your health and your survival. And most people throw that out the window first.
100%. People don't realize how important it is. And I didn't realize how important it was either for a long time. I started with the Peloton, but even before then, I would try to walk every day. It wasn't always possible, but I found that on the days that I did, I would feel better.
Right.
And so it really is. It's not only going to help your health, but it's going to help your mind as well.
For sure. Okay, speaking of, I got another couple of questions for you, Samantha.
Okay.
How has your combination of academic background and practical experience shaped how you handle complex estate disputes?
Great question. So we have clients come to us all the time that they're very upset, they're distressed, they're in these complicated situations that they really don't know how to get out of. And I like to approach those types of cases, especially when clients are feeling very overwhelmed and stressed and just emotional. I mean, my practice is dealing with estates and people that have passed away. So you're dealing with clients who are already emotional about their loved one passing, on top of having to actually deal with the estate itself. And many of them have their litigated matters. So, the family's fighting, it's not going smoothly. So there's a lot of factors to consider. I really like to approach those types of cases as we're going to just take this one step at a time. We're going to start on step A. And once we get through that, then we'll deal with step B. And it becomes much more manageable for the client to deal with. And it also helps us because it's like, we're going to focus on achieving this one thing. And then when we do that, here's what we're going to do next. And so I like to take that approach with clients when you are dealing with when you're dealing with these very difficult estates. And I think that ties into my educational background because I was always achieving the next step. It was graduate college, take the LSAT, get into law school, graduate law school, study for the bar, pass the bar, etc. So I really just like to focus on what's in front of me, but also think long-term, why I'm doing this. But we're not going to get overwhelmed. We're just going to focus on what's immediately
Just
ahead.
take a bite at a time.
Exactly.
So on that note, estate cases often involve emotional family situations, right?
Definitely.
So how do you support clients while being an effective advocate during these difficult times?
So it's really important to have empathy and sympathy and let the clients get the emotions out to an extent that's reasonable. And I mean, you want to let the clients know that you completely understand how they're feeling and why they're feeling it, and that you're going to do everything that you can to help them and make this process as easy as possible for them. And we like to say that we're going to take the burden of the actual case off of them, put it on us, and let them deal with their emotions and the grieving process and getting through each day. So at the end of the day, the reason why I do what I do is because we are helping people tremendously and we're making their lives a little bit better, even though they're going through a very difficult, sad situation. But at the end of it, they're going to be so happy that the chapter is closed, they can move on, and that they did everything that they needed to do.
And it was handled correctly. See?
Exactly.
Right? Because they hired you guys and you guys are really good at the job. Look, I've known Dan Antonelli for many, many years. I know he's got a great practice and he's got you, and that means a lot because he ran that thing by himself because he couldn't depend on anybody else. So having you, that means a lot, says a lot about you. But I had an interesting conversation with a lawyer yesterday who was like, nobody likes calling lawyers, nobody, and it's true, nobody's like, woohoo, I get to call my lawyer today. But
Yep.
It's not about that. It's not that we get excited. I'm not a lawyer, but I have a lot of lawyers in my employ that I pay, right? And thank God for them because they know how to do stuff I don't know how to do, and I would royally screw it up.
Sure.
And that's how important you guys are to the system. It's you guys are part of the system, and it's necessary. And what you give families is peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I completely agree with that. We don't expect clients to know what to do when somebody passes away. Most clients have never been in a position that they need to probate a will or they need to get appointed as an administrator and sell property that was only held in the decedent's name. And
it's all different every time. Right?
Yeah, every case is different. A lot of our job is not only to do the legal work and get them what they need through the court, but also to educate them and teach them the process and teach them what they need to do once they're either an administrator or an executor of an estate and what their responsibilities consist of. So it's both doing the legal work, but also a lot of what we do is educating.
Right. And that leads me to my next question. A good segue. How does your experience as a court-appointed guardian help you when representing clients in contested estate matters?
So I get appointed by the court as both a guardian ad litem, which is an attorney that acts on behalf of people who are interested in the estate who are under a disability. So I could be appointed to represent a child under the age of 14 or somebody who's alleged to be an heir but is actually missing and they have no idea. The petitioner of the case has no idea where this person is.
Oh, fascinating.
So it's my job to look out for those people's interest and make sure that if they are due something, that they actually receive it. And then I also get appointed in various roles in guardianship cases. And that's where nobody has passed away yet, but there's a person who's alleged to be incapacitated who can no longer make decisions either concerning their property or their person. And those are very interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's helping people and trying to make these situations better for the people that I'm representing.
We'll talk about empathy, right? I mean, when you're helping people like that, that's even more. Let's just go far and beyond, and that gives you great experience in terms of having empathy for others, which is what you need to have in this job that you're doing. And
100%.
That's really interesting. I never heard of that before, representing somebody or, that might not even be there. You're acting like them.
Yeah, it's very meaningful work. I don't know if I could do it full time, but it's very meaningful where, especially with the guardianship cases, not my favorite cases, but I do it because at the end of the day, I really feel like I'm making a difference. It's kind of like social work to an extent. But you're making a difference, and that's
making a difference. And I know it's hard doing that kind of work. I mean, that's very pulls on you heavily, especially with everything else you have going on. And so speaking of that, what changes do you see in New York probate law, and how might these affect your clients?
So I don't see any imminent changes in New York probate law that would severely affect my clients. There's some procedural changes that are being discussed that wouldn't really have much effect.
Has AI affected what you're doing in any capacity? I'm sure it has.
Definitely. So far AI has been great. I wouldn't solely rely on AI. But for me, it's helped me if I have a legal question that I'm researching, it helps me get to the answer much quicker than doing it the old traditional way, which a lot of attorneys would say my old traditional way is just typing it into the computer or to the research database. But I know a lot of attorneys used to have to go to the law library or go into the books itself to research. So it's been great so far. I think that
it gives you a good leg up.
Definitely. Attorneys just need to be very careful with the information that they're getting.
Yeah.
And make sure.
A lot of dumb attorneys have just published briefs and whatnot, citing cases that never existed that AI just made up.
You can't do that. You need to make sure that the information you're getting from AI is accurate information. Verify that these cases exist. And if they do exist, that they haven't been overturned or there's no red flags. But I think that attorneys could definitely use it to their advantage and help their practice.
Yeah, for sure. It really can help them, but you're right. Don't just publish your stuff out there without double checking. And also you got to run that stuff. Like if you publish anything that you've had even partially developed in AI, you want to run it through an AI checker to make sure it doesn't get busted for that too. Because you got to play nice with AI these days.
Definitely.
So what's next for you and the firm? What's next, Samantha?
Great question. I feel like I've climbed to the top, which has been very rewarding and very exciting. So that's only been for the last 2 months since my promotion.
Yes, congratulations so much.
Thank you so much. So really just continuing to be the best attorney that I can be, continuing to expand my legal knowledge and gain more experience, and just becoming more effective for my clients.
Do you work with Dan on cases together on stuff?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
And I love working with him. He's really a brilliant attorney. So
he's a great person too. Great.
Yeah.
Talk about empathetic heart. He's got a great heart.
100%. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I chose to work with him and ultimately partner with him. Because he's a great attorney, but also more importantly, he's so empathetic to clients and their situations. And we share the same goals and mission. We want to help people as best we can.
And that's why he gets so many referrals.
It's true.
That's true, everybody. That's why Dan just does a great job for his clients. And he builds relationships, and so do you now. I mean, and those relationships turn into other relationships because people are like, oh, you got to use Antonelli and Antonelli. They're the best ever. And you get that going, and that's how you take off, get that referral engine going. It's not that hard. You do a good job for your people. Well, Samantha, it's been wonderful talking to you and getting to know you better. And I wish you the best success. And I know you're going to be even more successful. We'll have to have a follow-up in a couple of, maybe next year and see where you are.
Sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on this. And it's been a great experience.
I just love what you've been able to do. And I'm glad that you got to be a part of the series, Samantha.
Thank you so much. I
really thank you so much for being a great client of ours.
Our pleasure.
All right. So, Samantha, thank you so much. Everybody, it's been Tom and Samantha on the World of Marketing. You guys have yourself a fantastic day. Samantha, stick around.
Will do.